Good.
Your new album, The Fall of Hearts, has been released last month. It's your 10th album. It turns out to be your 25th anniversary as well. How do you feel about passing this milestone?
Great. It's been an achievement because I don't think there's many bands that can cross the 25 year and celebrate that as an anniversary. I think that's a really rewarding thing to achieve. And also have 10 albums under your belt. It's the same thing. It's an amazing thing. It's not that we go around and think about it every day. You actually just think about it when someone brings it up. But it's amazing. We love it.
I was wondering how the whole acoustic experience you went through with Dethroned and Uncrowned and Sanctitude influenced the new material.
No, but yeah, it definitely had a good, strong kind of impact on the new material. Naturally, because when we made the Dethroned and Uncrowned album, it went into a territory that we wanted to do, but we didn't want to abandon our main sound. So it was an experiment that just turned out very well, you know. And I think our audience, they kind of saw this just opening up the doors for Katatonia in the way that we have become more a wider band, you know. It's these days it's hard to say exactly what kind of genre we are. Some bands, you know, claim we are over there, and some bands claim we're over there, and I'm fine with both of them, you know. It just makes us a more dynamic band, I think. So it's, it has enriched us as a band.
You want to add something?
Yeah, and since it was a quite good experience and challenge for us when we went out on the acoustic tour, because it was a whole different ballpark than what we're used to. I think that kind of evolved the band in to be a wider and more bigger sounding band as well, because everybody of us was quite nervous and didn't really know what we would expect when going on the first show, because 2 weeks before we had never rehearsed the material when the rearranged songs for the acoustic tour, and it was with 2 members we'd never rehearsed with either, so we kind of like fumbled in the dark in the beginning, but it turned out to be something really great, and I think that shows on the new album as well.
Okay, each listening of your music reveals always something new, and you went further with this new album. How do you work in the production to make it sound like this? Do you use extra layers of music elements? Because each time I listen to the CD, I discover something new. It's especially on the last one.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from the Motorhead experience. It's more than just guitars, bass, drums and vocals. There's lots of ambient layers in the music as well, and even the guitars is built in that way. There's not just what hits you in the face in the beginning. There's lots of layers, lots of sounds, and I think you can listen to this album from probably each day for a year and then experience more layers, and that's what makes it great as well. And that's the same experience I had listening to the older albums as well.
There's also a Swedish song in the bonus. What made you want to do a song in your maternal language?
It was also something we just saw as an experiment, really. More kind of a personal challenge to do it. People probably, you know, they didn't expect us to do this, but and neither did we, to be honest. But we felt it could be, I mean, we have such a liberty to do what we want with the B-sides on the album. We already knew this song was not gonna be on the album, so we just said, like, let's just do something weird with it, because it has no rules, you know. We don't have to think about anything, and we don't have to adjust to anything, so it could be cool to just hear how Jonas will sound you know, with our native language, and it turned out really cool. Now a lot of our fans are asking, you know, obviously about the lyrics, because they don't know the hell what he's singing about and everything like that, but yeah, I guess you have to learn Swedish, you know. Yeah. So
what's in general the most stressful and sensitive step in the production process?
On this album or in particular?
In general.
Yeah. I think we had a good run recording all the albums. We're pretty focused once we're done. I think the most stressful part is before we make an album. To be on the same page and to know what we're gonna do, and to know that we are gonna enter the studio with songs that are good enough. That's the stressful part. So the whole writing is kind of a roller coaster, up and down. Sometimes you think like, maybe I should throw in the towel, you know, I can't make it anymore. It's really frustrating. And some days you just like wake up and you listen to what you did yesterday and you're like, oh wow, this is great. Sometimes you actually do feel that about your own music. Just those few seconds before you recorded it. But it's, yeah, I think we are, you know, we've been doing it so long, so once we have the writing done, and we have it down. I think the recording is a smooth process. It's just about nailing everything as good as you can and trying to get your emotions down into the album. So yeah, it's cool.
Well, this year is a special year as well for you because you're celebrating the 10th anniversary of The Great Cold Distance, which is a major album in your discography, a real masterpiece. In hindsight, what do you think made this album so special?
I think it came out at the right time. People were really prepared for this album because in the past we had made kind of a more challenging change maybe for the listener. Stylistically and musically, we went a little bit, you know, rough around the edges, but making The Great Cold Distance coming from Viva Emptiness, people were kind of you know, they were kind of, they knew what we were about at the time. And I think the songwriting is good, is great on the album, and the production is probably one of the best we ever had. So this album is just turned out to be this center, you know, big, like, pillar in our discography, and it really shows. It's pretty much our fans' favorite album.
Yeah.
For me, I think that's the album when the progressive elements of Katatonia was more refined, and where that started to, if you want to call it progressive elements, but where that kind of like took more part of the sound picture, and actually for me that was the experience as you have had, like finding new layers, and it took me I think 2 years before I could hear all the layers and before things didn't start to pop out for each listening.
In the video biography, we can't help but think that The Great Cold Distance was an outcome of a really, really painful journey. Was it a revenge you took on all the shitty things you lived before?
I think that's the way we see it on every album, actually. Every album we do is kind of our answer to the whole, you know, outside world and our experience in life in general. So yeah, I would say that's, you know, it's repetitive process that's just been constant, and that shows on every album we do. Yeah.
Well, finally, because we have to cut off,
All right.
one of the biggest treats we are going to do to the fans is performing with an orchestra for the anniversary of this album. How do you approach this collaboration, which is something new for you?
It was just an idea that came up from our management, because some of the bands that they manage have also done it before, and it turned out to be a really successful collaboration. And we just said, like, you know, if we're gonna do something like that this is probably the time now, or maybe we will regret not doing it, because these things doesn't grow on trees. It could, you know, maybe never happen again. We might never get the opportunity, so it's better to grab the opportunity now and do it for us and the fans. It's just as much for ourselves, actually.
Do you feel excited or stressed a little bit?
Both, yeah. I mean, it's new to us. It's not like you don't look over your shoulder and you see 30 people there with strings. It's kind of surreal, but I hope it will go down really well, because we're really excited about it.
Well, this is Moroccan media. I just wanted to know if you ever thought about being able to reach an Arab audience, because you have a lot of fans in Morocco.
I hope so. I mean, it's out of my kind of, control. But I would like to see Katatonias worldwide. I think we have our musical language connects people worldwide. It's not just the Western civilization. It's anybody with a good musical mind. You can live whatever you want. So, yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay in school.